inside Thursday night. How's it going? Alright, strip back, good crack, multi-trade podcast. Share the knowledge you know, help to make our sector grow. Everybody's learning from experts and the journeyman. Insights.
And we're back. Season 7, Episode 5. I'm Stephen Buckley.
And I'm Keith Delahan.
And this is Insight, the Stripped Back podcast, coming to you from Robust Lighting's headquarters in Dublin, Ireland, the world's leading LED lighting company.
And also in association with Snickers Workwear Ireland and Velocity Pro Gear.
Yeah, coming up later on the episode, we've got Sean Fox, founder of Goosey Goo, baby clothing brand that was born upon the necessity for clothing that is needed for children with conditions such as eczema or other type of sensitive skin issues. So a really good story, one that I think will hit hard with a lot of people who have been having issues within the country at the minute in regards to the likes of homelessness, money struggles, trying to set up businesses during a daunting time in the country where a lot of people are struggling,
Yeah, no, 100%. Really looking forward to that one. But before that, then we've got Jessica Rose. She's a plumbing and heating engineer from the UK. So she's going to come on and share her story, her unusual pathway into becoming a plumber. So she's going to share that with us. So we're really looking forward to that one, and we'll get stuck in.
Yeah, I guess Jessica's one who I reached out to on Instagram recently. She's been posting stories of her journey as an apprentice. One that is real and stripped back, like the podcast. She's been putting videos out that are not to be polished, or they're not to be self-promoting. They're just out there to show how the industry is and what it takes for not just a female to be in the industry, but anybody looking to get in, what it really takes to work as a plumber or a heating engineer. So there's a lot for us to learn, and I can't wait to get into it and hear more about her journey.
Yeah, let's jump into it.
This podcast is coming to you from the Robust headquarters in Dublin, Ireland.
Robust are the world's leading LED lighting company.
So make sure you head over and download the My Robust app and see what they have on offer. Jessica, thanks for joining myself and Keith remotely on the podcast. Delighted to have you. Great to speak to you.
Thank you for inviting me.
Where are you transmitting from this evening?
I am talking to you from Worcestershire over in the West Midlands.
Feels like we're on Eurovision. UK, 0 points. But what we usually do is we like to take things back a little bit, give our listeners a bit of a look into maybe where our guests grew up and certain things that might have happened in their life that might have sort of molded them into who they are today. So I guess if you'd like to give our listeners a bit of a background on where Jessica grew up and what her life was like in school and the likes.
Yeah, so I grew up in Worcestershire. I've always been in this area, and I would say in school I was very academic. I liked learning. I got relatively good grades, so I tend to find that people kind of set you on a path then, and it seems to be the university path or whatever path involves some form of academia. I grew up with just my sister and my mum. My father wasn't really around, so I think that very much influenced me being very independent, very hands-on. I kind of found myself taking that practical role in the house where I was the one wanting to learn to do more practical things as opposed to just the academic side. So I was one of those children that was moving furniture around in the bedroom without my mother knowing, and she'd wake up in the morning and find a reconfigured bedroom and I was about 10. So yeah, I've always been very practical. Yeah.
Were you always the one to hang up the picture frames and that kind of thing, or fix a faulty door handle, that type of thing?
I just very much enjoyed taking that role. I liked learning anyway. I'm still like it today. I still like learning. So yeah, I was definitely the same when I was a child.
You're probably one of the first guests to come on here and say like they enjoyed school and they did well at school. Because usually when we have someone on, it's
Yeah.
you know they're down talking school and always wanted to leave and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of refreshing to talk to someone that actually enjoyed it and thrived in it. So well done, I
Yeah,
suppose.
I was very much keen on doing well. I didn't want to fail, so I was constantly studying. I guess a little bit nerdy when it came
Yeah.
to things like that. I enjoyed things like maths. It's just very different to a lot of people I talk to that are in the trade industry. There tends to be a bit of a stigma around they didn't enjoy it, so that's why they went and did something practical. Whereas I enjoyed both.
Yeah. Did you find that you had a child's childhood, like, or the fact that there was no father around, that you had to maybe sort of grow up quicker than you would have expected, or did you still get to enjoy your childhood?
I definitely grew up very, very fast. I moved out when I was 17, just turned 18, got my driver's license, was working from 15. So I was very, very independent very early on. I definitely enjoyed my childhood. I was still doing what every other teenager or child was doing, but I just found myself wanting to do more and wanting to take on that role.
And what was your first job?
So I actually worked in a little hairdresser's. So I was just shampooing customers' hair, and it was a really, really good little money earner for me at the time. And that kind of led me on when I left school. I kind of rebelled against wanting to go down the university route. So I went and did hairdressing for a couple of years, just because I didn't want to stick with doing things like maths and English in uni. I just completely was like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to do something practical.
Still hands on, but in I suppose a completely different sense to being hands on the way you are now.
Yes, yeah, very, very different. I enjoyed it, but I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I kind of fell into that.
It
Yeah,
was a good little stopgap.
yes, yeah. It was
Such
kind
a
of the only options that were given as well, I find, when you're a
Yeah, but
female.
that's it. You can get sort of pigeonholed, can't you? Really, like, as well as a female coming out, like, there's you would have shown signs maybe at an early age, even with the likes of moving the furniture around with design and a bit of concept in regards to having a vision of
functionality and
functionality. Like, but you'd see like hairdressing is just something that you'll get into because it seems like an easy path, like maybe for somebody to get in there.
it's a
But
stereotype as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's more the stereotype. I found when I was in school, it was guys got given the option of doing mechanics and carpentry, and females would get sort of lean towards beauty, hair, cooking, that kind of textiles, all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So it's a little bit different. So I kind of felt like you had to go down that route. There wasn't an option to go elsewhere.
It's great though, like even just to get that bit of experience for just a sense of, customer service and the talking and being able to speak to people while you're doing their hair and stuff like that. Like, I'd never sort of bash anybody for going out and just, getting into certain roles, just to, even though you might think it might not be building you as a person or building you professionally, you're taking something away from that, like, that you're then going to use, which you're probably using now then later. Obviously we'll get into your career journey, but you're probably still using the skills that you would have built up in that role, like now, like going into people's houses or going onto sites or talking to other builders and other contractors and stuff.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like every skill throughout my teenage years, from even having like the little Saturday job in the hairdressers, you're just talking to people. It's life skills, and I feel like that's massively impacted where I'm at now.
So you would have seen that as well, and working on the petrol pumps and me in the shop and stuff, like growing up, like that's where you sort of
you apply your trade and socially to to get in the mix. And like in terms of the hairdressing, like obviously it was something that you had a kind of an interest in, obviously, to do it, and then obviously interested in the money side of it as well. But in terms of them maybe concreting the fact that you actually didn't want to do it as well, you kind of have to do it to learn that as well, don't you?
Yeah, I feel like you kind of have to give it a go. And I did it for a fair few years, and it wasn't enough. It was creative, and I'm
Yeah.
quite a creative individual as well. But I was just missing the practicality aspect of it. And it also, once you know it, that's it. There's kind of no more really that I could add to what I was doing.
And I
So
presume you'd have similar enough clients on a week-to-week basis then as well, the kind of more you got into the role as well. I presume that's the
yes,
way it goes as well.
yeah. So you kind of get your regular clients, and then it's very samey all the time,
Mm.
same conversations.
Same
Um,
same perm, same colour.
yeah, yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Would you have found yourself having a good friendship group growing up that you would have still sort of maintained coming out, that would have maybe, I not say like it would have impacted like the career choice as well, like, but would you have had other friends that would have like similarly like gone down the same path, or would college have been a popular choice for your friends group, like coming out of school, like that they all would have been going off and maybe like gone looking for a third level education?
So what the route I went down was very different to my few friends that I had that were very, very close to me in school. They went down the university route, going and doing A levels. I went off and did my MVQ for my hairdressing. So I was then surrounded by people who were much older than me in college, and nobody really from my school. So I was instantly at the age of 16 put into a position where I wasn't around people that I was familiar with, people my age. So you kind of you grow up kind of automatically then, because you're surrounded by people who were 30, 40, had kids, had a house, and you just see a very, very different lifestyle compared to your own. But everybody went down a very different route to myself.
And any, I suppose, side effects from, being that age and then being thrown into the mix with, young adults, I suppose. Was there any side effects for yourself, like in terms of maybe socializing or, integrating?
So I didn't really do the typical throughout my late teens and early 20s going out partying loads. I tended to find myself, I wanted to work. I lived on my own, so I was focused on paying my bills,
Yeah.
getting a better car, things like that. So I was constantly looking for the next best job to earn me some more money. So I found I kind of didn't do what my friends were doing at that point. And I did lose contact for a bit, so it does have a bit of a knock-on effect. But I ended up having a lot of good friends who were ironically in their early 40s or their late 30s, and I was 17, 18 years
Mm.
old. And I just constantly got told that I was very mature, and I got on very well with them. So I just adjusted my friendship groups really to suit my lifestyle.
Well, there's a lot to be said, like for getting into a role like that, and taking the time and the effort to even go and get the qualification in it, and then deciding and knowing within yourself that there's a different path you want to take, or there's a different direction you want to go in, and not just sort of bed down and say, well, I can do this job now, so I'm going to stick with it, and just not never know if there's anything else out there for you, At what point did you feel the need that you'd sort of outgrown that role?
It was quite soon after, so I was around 19 years old, so I'd only literally done it for maybe 3 years in total. And one, it was the money. It was difficult to earn money where I was, because I was on an hourly rate, and you soon realise the potential if you were to go self-employed. But I wasn't in that position living on my own. I never had any kind of additional support network, so it was very much just you need to work, you need to pay your bills. So that was always my focus. So I actually moved around jobs quite a bit just to try and pay my way through life. So
Survive.
I was, yes, exactly. So I did a whole range of things, and I tend to find um, I get bored quite easy. So I want to be constantly stimulated and constantly learning something new. And I couldn't find it for years. It took a very long time.
And what did you land on then after all that searching?
So my longest job was working in an office. So I trained as a paralegal. So I got my level 4 and 5 in law when I was working for a law firm. I just started in an admin role. So it was just one of those additional jobs to get. And very quickly, within 6 months, they wanted to train me up into a paralegal role. So I ended up really enjoying that. The variety was good. I just don't like sitting in an office all day. I
Simple.
really struggle with it. I can't sit still all day long. 8 hours at a desk was very, very difficult. But I did stick it out for 6 years, and I just got to a point 2 years ago now where I thought, if I don't make a move and go and figure out if being in a trade is definitely for me, when am I?
Did you
So.
just have the image of the Reese Witherspoon and the Legally Blonde and going in?
Oh, it was very dressed down in comparison to that. Yeah, very dressed down.
But obviously,
Yeah.
you get the point there. Obviously, you mentioned, there's a bigger picture, obviously, within the trades that sort of was calling in the background. And obviously, you had that probably bedded into you from an early age with the manual labor that you were putting yourself through as a child. But when you were sort of sounding out the possibility of moving out of the paralegal role and the potential of taking up a trade, would there have anybody who would have been a bit nervous for you doing that, or would you have had a lot of support?
I had more support than anything. I had a lot of "you go girl" kind of attitude with it. So everyone was very supportive, and I think anyone that knew me knew what I was like. So I've had my own house since I was 21, sorry. And when I got to the age of 25, I then really wanted to progress further with anything that was tool related, to be honest. I just did so much in my own house that I realized that side of it was what I enjoyed more.
And was there anybody, I suppose, who influenced you to go down the plumbing route? Or is there, like, what made you choose plumbing? Because me and Stephen, as electricians, we'd always wonder why people would go into plumbing, you know? Why would you do it yourself?
So it's a good question. When I was about 19, 20, I met a good friend of mine, and he's a gas engineer. So obviously did plumbing and then obviously gas as well. And I found myself just going on Saturdays just to help out, earn a bit of money, and also actually get to have a go at things and see what it was like. And that was kind of what sparked my interest in that side of the trade. I liked the varying aspects of it. I liked the fact that plumbing wasn't just plumbing. You could go
Yeah.
off and you could go down the heating route, you could go down the gas route, oil. You kind of got so many variations of it, that I thought if I started off with the basics of plumbing, I could then work out what parts of it I really enjoyed and start navigating down those routes. So it was about 8 years ago, so it was quite a long time ago that I first had an interest. It just took a very long time to actually make the move.
What way does it look over there in the UK? Like, obviously in Ireland here with apprenticeships, you're quite restricted to how you can actually start them. So you need to obviously find the company first. You have to get registered with a company, and then they need to register you as an apprentice. And you do a bit of time on site, you do a bit of time off site, and then you'll work through that then over the course of 4 years and get your qualification at the end of it. Would that be similar in the UK, or is there potentials to get in and actually do some of the academic end of it first and then actually find an employer, or do you have to actually go out and actually source an employer first?
So over here, you've got kind of two routes that you can go down. You can either find an employer first and then go down the apprenticeship route, and they'll obviously put you into college 1 day per week, or you can go to college and then come out of college with a qualification and then find an employer that you can then kind of get hands on with and learn afterwards. Um, when I was around 20, I tried to contact various gas engineers, plumbers in the local area just to see if they were looking to take on anybody. And it was so limited and sparse that everyone already had somebody, or they don't want to then take that risk of taking somebody on. So it never really went anywhere. And it was only last year that I found so a social housing company basically that were taking on a number of apprentices, and through that they then put you through college and your qualifications. So I was quite lucky to find that. I did have to put myself through a level 2 plumbing course around my office job because I didn't need it for the job that I've now got, but I felt like I was already looking and I felt like I needed something to be like, look, I've got a level 2, I am keen. Yeah, I am keen and I'm interested. And just something to start with, really. So it's a very similar process to over in Ireland. It's just which route you choose to go down.
I'm sure it's a question that you get all the time, and it's same when we have girls and ladies in here and we're interviewing them. Did you find there was any, I suppose, barriers associated with you being a girl looking to get into the trades?
I've never had anyone be direct with barriers. I think people are very, very careful with what they say, especially companies. If anything, I find a lot of companies are very eager to get a female, which I do feel is a little bit of a box ticking exercise. Yeah, there were a couple of companies that contacted me prior to getting the job I've got because they'd seen me on social media. I'd only been on there maybe 6 months or so. And they were contacting me saying, we are specifically looking for a female apprentice.
Okay.
So it was that to me just sounds very much like they need to tick a box for equality, diversity, all of that side of things. So I've never faced any negatives, but I wouldn't necessarily class that as a positive at the same time as well. It's good that they're trying to get variety, but I just think the way of going around it's a little bit
it's a good way to look at it.
strange.
Yeah. Do you feel like that there's probably a bit of added pressures put on females within the trade industry as soon as they apply themselves online and put a bit of put themselves out there, even on social media, that there's a bit of pressure to be that role model or be that advocate for the women in the trades? And is there a bit of added pressure that goes along with that then to actually keep producing online?
That's the reason why I actually started up my social media in the first place, was one, to create a log for myself, but two, because all the females that I had found on there were very good at their job. They were qualified. They were putting the best work out there. And I was looking thinking, where's the people that are learning and making mistakes and struggling? Like I could just see, which I can see why they've done it. I can see why females feel they need to put online the best of the best because they're already feeling like they've got to prove themselves. So I could 100% see why everyone was putting the best work on there. But then for the likes of me coming in, I was thinking, well, everyone's already at their best. Where's the people starting at the bottom? So my whole page has always been to show the journey from day one, where you know nothing, and what that journey's like as a female, in particular. But yeah, there's definitely barriers, especially with putting things online. You instantly get slated just for having blonde long hair or having your nails done or anything like that. It just gets picked up and almost used as a weapon against you coming into the trade. They're like, well, you'll never survive because you're blonde, or you'll never survive because you're a petite woman. And it just,
it's stupid, isn't it, really?
Yeah, there's an instant negative associated with it. And it's only been since I've continued with it and people can see that I am genuinely interested in what I'm doing, and no matter whether I've got my nails or my hair done, I will give everything 110%. I'll get dirty, it doesn't bother me. It's just I'm being me as well as trying to do my job.
It's something
So yeah.
similar to myself. Like obviously before myself and Keith started doing the podcast, originally the page Insight was Insight Electrical, and I was posting up pretty much the day in the life of what I was doing. You know, similar to that, like, you know, if you made a mistake, you made a mistake. If you put up something that, you know, was valuable in any way, that was going to help somebody progress themselves while they're learning, then you'll put it out there, because it only takes, like, say, one apprentice to maybe feel a bit bad that they might have done something during the day, and that, you know, maybe I'm the only person doing that wrong. But you'll see something online, it's like, oh shit, like somebody else has actually made that mistake before, so they make feel a little bit better about themselves. They can relax a bit into their apprenticeship and realize that we're all humans. And that was my goal at the start, was to try and get a bit of educational content out there, but at the same time trying to be real, because I think there's a fine line between, like, would you say, a polished page, like, which is great for, you know, a bit of advertisement or a bit of you know, ambassadorships and all that, where you're getting products out there and you're getting them all up and they all look great, like, but to change it up slightly and give people a bit of a real life view of how, not how tough it can be, but, you know, people can get a false sense of security when they get into the trades. I think when people are putting out polished videos, and it is tough, you know, there's no ifs or buts about it. Like, it's a tough day's graft. You have to get stuck in, and no matter how much time it takes for you to set up a tripod and get it right and just record yourself, that work is being done. And at the end of the day, like, that, you know, boiler that you're working on, or the fuse board that Keith's working on, has to be powered up at the end. Like, so the job has to be done, and it has to be done right. Like, so I think to put quality real life content out there will last a lot longer online than a 3 or 30-second video of a light being screwed on perfectly and just turning on, you know.
That everyone's seen about a million times.
Exactly.
Yeah,
like
I
how,
completely agree.
Like, how important to you is it, you know, to keep it real? Is it easier to keep it real than trying to polish it up? Like,
I find it easier to keep it real. I've done that from day one anyway. So the majority of people would interact with me through stories initially. I never used to post a lot. I used to post maybe once a fortnight, once a month. And that was purely because for a while, I wasn't even in the trade. I was still working in the office, and I was trying to learn stuff outside of my office hours. So I didn't have loads to post. It was mostly me learning things off my own back. And when I actually got into my apprenticeship, it was a continuation, but I just had more things that I could put out there. I had more information about my day and what it was like. And most people react off my stories. So it's a daily story pretty much. And if I get up on the wrong side of the bed, or it's peeing down outside and I'm really miserable after a full day, that's what you'll see at the end. And it's just, it is what it is. I get a lot of people contacting me, both male and female, asking for advice and what things are actually like being an apprentice, especially being an older apprentice. It's quite refreshing to see how many people take what I say on board, and it actually helps them. Seeing what I'm doing every day is quite nice.
would you consider yourself as a role model, or is that something that just sounds weird?
It sounds weird for me to say, for sure.
But like, by keeping it real, you're giving people a good insight into what it is going to be like. And look, plumbing, as we know from seeing other people doing it, it is labor intensive, and there is an art and a skill to doing it as well.
Well, I changed the trap there and the waste pipe on
in your bathroom.
In the bathroom there the other week, and I was sitting underneath, and I was never sweated so much, like, just trying to do that. Like, and it was a B&Q pre-made, like, you know,
the easy ones,
quick fix one, like, you know, and I thought it was brilliant at the end. I took pictures of it, and I didn't post them, but I still took pictures of it. So it is like at the end of the day, there is a bit of an artistry to it as well, because like Keith would do a lot of work like in heating systems and stuff, like where he has to go into hot presses or boiler rooms, like where there be boilers set up, like, and you'll just see this, I don't know, spaghetti junction of pipes coming in perfectly with each other and bending down and crossing over each other, and I just think
you can get it looking quite nice,
with a bit of art to it, like. But the fact that, like, I don't know if you would do a bit of soldering and stuff in your videos and any of that type of stuff, like you actually have to work with dangerous tools as well at the same time, like, which shouldn't be taken into any type of or understated at least as well, that way when you're going on to site, like there is a safety aspect to it, like, and that you have to be aware that, like, the power tools that they're using, or even gas that you might be using when it comes around to any type of job site that you're working on, that you're capable to go on the site, like, as well, and to show people that you can't just rock up to any job, like, and actually just do a cowboy job or work with any tools like that. You've put a lot of time and effort into your training, like, and that training, no matter if it's a certificate that you walk out with at the end, it's physical training as well that you've put time and effort into. So when you rock up to site, like, it doesn't matter if you're working on a large site like a commercial building site or an industrial building site, or if it's a domestic home, like, you're walking in with that capability of the knowing that, like, I've a registered installer, or I'm a qualified engineer, and it doesn't matter if you're female or male. When you rock up to that door, people have that respect for you. And I think we've had the likes of Kimmy the Sparks on here and Kate Bradshaw, like, who are like trailblazers in the electrical end of it, and they've told us the stories, where they'd rock up onto, like, I think Kimmy told us a story where she rocked up to a job and she had all her tools with her ready to start the job, like, and she's done her apprenticeship, she's done her qualification, she's fully qualified, ready to go, and the client said, "Are you here to mind the baby?" Just because she was female, that they just assumed that,
when's your boss going to be here?
Yeah, when's your boss? Yeah, that was at the wholesalers, like, what I mean? So there's so much that goes in behind the scenes in regards to, the being able to do the job, and then putting aside walking up and actually getting rid of that stigma around, you're not a female plumber, you know what I mean? You're a plumber, and you just happen to be female. You just happen to be female, and it takes it back to that apprenticeship, like, opportunity that you're looking for. They're looking for a female apprentice, like, and you could spot it straight away. Like, why didn't they just say we're looking for an apprentice? So I think there's a lot to be said for putting yourself out there, having the skills, and then just having the world change around us, really, rather than you having to change to suit the world. Because at the end of the day, like, you should be able to go and apply for any job or rock up to any job, like, and apply for that job as a plumber rather than a female plumber. There is still a lot to be done for that, like, and I think by you doing what you're doing online and promoting yourself through real videos and real content, yes, it's maybe promoting the trade for the next ones coming up behind you, who might be leaving school right now and thinking, what am I going to do with myself? But what it's also doing is slowly making it normal to see a woman in the trades, like, which I think is great.
Yes, it's quite nice when you go into, I find, tenants' properties or customers' properties now, and they've got little children, and it's like, "Mummy, there's a girl," and it's really lovely that you've got the child that's almost shocked with it, but then you've got and there's a woman doing it, and that could be you, and you hear so many parents saying it to their kids now, which is really lovely, and they come along and pick up a spanner or a screwdriver, and they're 10 and they're interested in things like that, and it's just nice when you see parents having that same effect. But like you mentioned about, like, Kimmy going to the property and being immediately greeted with the babysitter, I feel like, as well as coming in and training and being able to know what you're doing and know your job, you've then got to learn a little bit of an additional skill that I don't necessarily think males have to deal with all the time, where you've got to be able to convince that person, I
Yeah,
am qualified to do my job. I am the plumber, the electrician, whatever you are. And it's not like you say, I'm not a female plumber, I'm just the plumber. Um, and you've got to then convince them that, yes, I can do my job, and showing that they can have some faith in you and changing their perspective. You've got to be able to talk to people, and it's, yeah, there's just a little additional side to it where you're having to convince people quite a bit when they're shocked. I get it at work, where we've had a couple of times where I've been stood with my engineer who's male, and I'm obviously the apprentice, and people have said to me, "Oh, are you coming to audit him?" As if I'm from the
health and
office.
safety or something. Yeah,
So
QHSE, yeah.
I'm somebody that's senior. I've been called the manager. I've taken the van in to go and be, MOT'd or serviced, and they're like, "Oh, are you the manager dropping it off?" And I'm like, "Nope, I'm the apprentice." It's just people instantly have a stigma about it, and it's nice when they go, "Oh, lovely. Oh, like, that's a nice change." But you instantly get some people that just pull a face as if to say, well, that's not normal. That's weird, and they can't get their head around it.
no, I know exactly what you're saying, because even as males in the trade as well, we would on occasion meet a customer that maybe doesn't have the trust in us, like for whatever reason, just maybe because of their personalities or whatever, just had no trust in us. But like that'd be maybe 1 in 100, like where you're having to deal with that on a daily,
Yes.
like, so it's quite uncomfortable and surprising when we go to, meet a customer and you're met with that. So I can only imagine how maybe awkward it is on a daily basis, like.
Yeah, I think as well, like, the age thing it comes up. So it comes up with males a lot. Obviously, the majority of the engineers that I work with are male. A lot of the guys that are training me are 22 years old and fully qualified, and they've been doing it for 6 years.
Yeah,
And you just see some of them getting a bit of a backlash from customers, because they're like, well,
the
you're not old
younger.
enough, so you can't have the experience. And I'm like, but they've done it for 6 years. They've lived and breathed that role for
Yeah,
6 years. Whereas if they started it when they were 30 and did 6 years, and they get to 36, they're instantly almost assumed that, oh well, they must have 16 years experience, or 20 years experience, because they assume your start point. So yeah, it's interesting, the
yeah.
stigmas that
No,
you get from people.
you do make a great point there, because me and Stephen have talked about it loads of times. I have a nephew that started his apprenticeship with me when he was 16. So like he's 20 now, like, so he's fairly well experienced, and I've had fully qualified lads like well into their 30s, and they are not a patch on him. He is like maybe 10 times better than them. But I know exactly what you're saying. When he goes to customer's house, he still has a baby face, but he's got the knowledge, like, so I know exactly what you're saying. But
Yeah.
look, in terms of being a female in the trade, isn't it, like, it's great to see that the industry are now getting really and truly well behind it as well. So like you've got the Rising Star Award that we'd like you to talk us through.
Yes. So that was something that came about, I think it was at the end of last year or the start of this year. I can't quite remember because it was quite some time ago. But you basically have a variety of questions just talking about where you're at in your career, what kind of things you're learning, what areas you're working in, and they take as much information as they can, about your day and your knowledge and your interests in the career that you're going down. And then you go through various technical challenges, and they kind of look at your responses and see whereabouts they think you're at, against other people who were, just entering the industry. So I think I applied for that when I was 6 months into my apprenticeship. So I hadn't been there very long. It wasn't something I knew about or had found. It was kind of put in front of me as saying, you should put some
Yeah.
answers to these questions and see where you get with it. I had no insight to thinking that I would get anywhere with it, especially only being 6 months into the trade. But it was a really, really good experience. It was good to meet the other people that were involved in it and the other people that got to the final stage. Everyone was at very different points in their early careers, so it was really interesting to see the variety. But yeah, that got announced at the installer show this year, who won. So I was very surprised, obviously very, very happy. Yeah, it's a really lovely thing to have
Would
to my
that
name.
would that have been decided by, say, professionals within the field as judges?
Yes. So there were various professional judges, and there were also previous winners of the award. So I know one of the previous winners, Carl Ladd. He was one of the ones that set the technical challenges for people. So they kind of try and keep it all within house. So you know, there's obviously would have been different people doing it prior to him winning it a few years back. So it's all based on various professionals at different levels in the industry, and they kind of go through everything in different judging days and kind of rank everybody gets a score, and you go through a public vote as well. So there's also a public vote that's involved, and they kind of add up the scores from the technical challenges, the judging days, and the vote, and they collate it all together, and then that decides who the winner is. So yeah, it's quite an interesting process.
Are you proud of yourself for winning that?
Yes, I am. It's hard for
Chuffed.
me to say. I always feel weird saying that I'm proud of myself. But from where I was this time last year, and the fact I've got a log so I can actually see where I was at this time last year, it does make me sit there and go, no, I've really pushed myself. It was putting myself well out of my comfort zone doing something like that, and I'm really glad that I have. Yeah.
How great is the trade community in the UK right now? Like, as the likes of the installer show and all the other shows that go on over in the UK throughout the year, bringing the community together, not just plumbers, but electricians and all trades all coming together in one room and allowing people to actually mix with each other. Because I think there's not a lot of industries that has that type of grasp where they can get people together so well and allow people to not just grow on social media, like, but actually to meet each other and actually grow personally with other trades. It seems to be really active over there at the minute compared to what we'd see here in Ireland.
Yes, I was going to say in the past couple of years, I think it's been rapidly growing, but the past year has just been incredible. So I wouldn't be where I'm at now if it wasn't for shows like the Installer Show. The amount of really good friends and people that I've met and learnt from, um, you know, it's like a massive networking event as well. So if you're
Yeah.
wanting to meet people to further your learning or your development or anything like that, or your business, if you've got a business, it gets your name out there. You get to meet some either people that are starting where you were a few years ago, or that they're really far ahead of you, and there's no kind of hierarchy in there. You just all kind of mingle with each other, which was what I was really surprised by. I've obviously been on social media for about 2 years now, and when I went to the installer show last year, I wasn't even in a trade at that point, and I was welcomed with open arms purely because I had a passion and showed an interest in it, and people can see that. So many tradies were just like, I love your enthusiasm for it, you'll do really well, and it kind of encourages you to want to go and do really well when people can see that. So if it wasn't for that show last year, I don't think I'd be where I am now. And it was incredible going back this year and seeing the difference and meeting people that I met a year ago again in person, and just having that that collaboration with them and getting to know them on a personal level, it really does create an amazing community and just a massive support network. I think Instagram is a very, very incredible place for making a community out of the tradespeople.
Does that allow you then in turn to build, I suppose, relationship with the brands as well at the likes of these shows? Like you've worked with brands. Do you think that like social media and those events allow you to, you know, get face to face with the brands?
Yeah, I think as much as you can see people on social media, talking to somebody in person is very, very different. You get to actually see that this is the person that is on camera. Are they the same? Are
Yeah.
they giving out a vibe that you like, or is it all put on? Because there are people that obviously do put on for the camera, and that works for them, and they can be very, very different in person. But when I'm talking to companies and brands, it's just really nice to speak to people who are working for those brands and get to know sort of behind the scenes and how they can help you and how you can help them, because it's very much a two-way thing. I
Yeah.
found I used to think that working with brands was, gosh, you're doing everything for them, but they're also doing a lot for you in your development. And I was very lucky earlier on in, I want to say my career, but I hadn't even started. It was probably 3 or 4 months before I'd even got an apprenticeship. And Thomas Dudley, who were a plumbing company over in the UK, they approached me and wanted to work with me and help me and develop my knowledge on products and how that can help benefit me when I'm learning. And it was an incredible thing. They would just send me a few products that I could just sit and fiddle with. Like I took my own toilet apart, and that was one of the first videos I did that I put out there where I made a mistake. And I put that I had made the mistake and what the mistake was. And, you know, once you do that, you don't forget, because I'm never going to make that mistake again, because you
Yeah.
remember it. And it was very interesting from that first video to see what people were like on social media and how people responded to that, because you had a very mixed crowd. I would find you had
Yeah.
Yeah.
people very much jumping on the bandwagon, going in the comments being like, well, you've put that rubber washer on the outside, not the inside. That's not right. And I'm like, did you watch the rest of the video? When I actually said in the
Yeah.
video that, oh yeah, I've put it in the wrong place. You'll see me correcting it in a minute. And then you've got other people going, oh, it's nice to see you made that mistake too. I did that. I remember doing that. So it was really interesting to see how different people respond on Instagram.
They're only waiting to jump on. Like it's like piranhas, you know, just waiting for somebody to dip their foot in, you know. But you mentioned there, obviously, Thomas Dudley, and it's great to hear that, like, that there's actually businesses out there that by giving you those products and allowing you to tinker away with them and inspect them and, you know, even just learn from them, that's adding to your apprenticeship. You know what I mean? It's allowing you to learn physically with products, like, so they are contributing to your learning journey, like, which is great for a brand to do that, because a lot of brands, like you said, would just provide you with the product and they'll be expecting, you know, an install video, and they'll want to see that within a certain amount of time, and there'll be expectations on you. So to allow you to actually learn and develop is brilliant. And like, taking it back to, obviously, keep mentioning the trade shows and how important they are, like that, you know, being at the trade shows and being physically there and meeting the brands, like, it's literally, like we spoke about it before, bridging that gap between the technician or the engineer and the brand, because it can be very robotic just chatting away through DMs. Like, so to actually get there and actually show these people who you are as a person, let them know your personality and show who the real Jess is a great opportunity. So I think we have to start doing that a bit more, Keith.
Yeah, but like even in terms of for ourselves, like coming here to Robus, like Robus is like a worldwide brand, Irish in its origin, but like, you know, we've used the the gear. We've used all their products for like since we started out as in our apprenticeships a long time ago now. But like they're just people at the end of the day. Like we've talked to the CEO. The original founder has meted and greeted us as well, and these people are down to earth like anyone else.
Family
like
business, yeah.
Family business, like, and like what you were saying, just getting into those trade shows, it is bridging the gap, and it just shows you that these so-called entities aren't what you think they are. Like they're not a conglomerate thing, they are down there people as well, yeah. So
yeah, it's really good to just meet them, talk to them, get them to know who you are off screen. I think that's really important.
And get a few free bits as well.
Yeah, the bag on the way out.
Always love a couple of good freebies.
Don't say you don't love the pens.
Yeah.
Oh, and the air fresheners. Don't forget
the air fresheners. Yeah, notepads. I have about a million notepads.
Yeah. Obviously, you mentioned there the apprenticeship, and you seem like somebody who is aspirational and has like the potential to get to where you want to get to. But do you allow yourself to think ahead beyond the apprenticeship, or do you just focus on the now and just think about just getting that completed?
No, I very much always think a little bit ahead. I don't tend to go, what's my plan in 5 years' time or 10 years' time. I've never really found that works for me, but I do look ahead because I know that there's a reason why I'm doing it. So before I started my apprenticeship, there was a reason why I started doing the plumbing, and that was to get the apprenticeship. And the reason I'm doing the apprenticeship is because I want to be a heating engineer. And I'm always looking a little bit further ahead, at the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing now and what that goal is that I'm getting to, because I like the feeling of knowing, right, I've achieved that, so what's the next thing that I'm looking to? So that's kind of how I tend to look forward.
Any aspirations of going self-employed when, like starting up your own business or company, having people working for you, or is there anything like that down the line, do you think?
I can see myself further down the line going self-employed. I'm very, very driven and very independent, so I just feel like that kind of route would work well for me. It also gives me that little bit more flexibility. So even now in my apprenticeship, I'm wanting to do more jobs, but I'm also finding that I'm kind of limited because of so many days annual leave and things like that. So I can't necessarily venture out and do things to do with brands or social media or companies as much as I want to. So I feel like further down the line, being self-employed will just give me that bit of flexibility as well.
Brilliant. Great answer.
For anybody looking to follow your journey or learn from the mistakes, as you say, where can they find you online?
So it would be my Instagram is the main place, which is under Plumbing Jess. And then I'm also on TikTok as well. I've just set up Facebook and YouTube, so those are brand new. But Instagram is the main place, but you can find me on all 4 platforms, all under Plumbing Jess.
But if you're going to be on TikTok, you have to make sure that you just keep posting just little mistakes in your videos, because I swear to God, once you put those little mistakes in, the trolls come and the algorithm is your friend.
They go wild. They go
we love the algorithm.
wild on TikTok. Yes, yeah, they do, yeah.
So the hardest question of the night then is, we have our own Spotify playlist, and we like to ask our guests what song they would like to put on the playlist.
Okay, so I'd like to put a song called Ready by Delahan, which is a song that I absolutely love. I've got one of the sentences of the lyrics tattooed on me, which very much links to what I'm doing now and how I conduct my life, which says, follow what you love and you'll love what you do. And I always believe that. I always think as well that being ready doesn't mean that you're perfect. It just means that you've got the resilience and the acceptance to move forward. So that song kind of links in for that for me.
Class song.
And they're Irish.
And they're Irish as well. They're only from down the
Yeah,
road.
they are Irish, yes.
Jess, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you tonight. Thank you very much for coming on, sharing your story, and we can't wait to see how your apprenticeship progresses, and maybe we'll get you back on down the line when you're a multi-millionaire entrepreneur.
No, thank you so much for having me on. It's been really good to chat to you both.
Yeah, I wish you the best with everything.
Cheers, Jess.
Thanks, Jess.
Thank you. Thank you.
This is Insight, the Stripped Back podcast, sponsored by Robus Lighting, the world's leading LED lighting company.
And also brought to you in association with Snickers Workwear Ireland and Velocity Pro Gear.
Sean, thanks for joining myself and Keith on the podcast. It's one that we have been really looking forward to for a long time now. You reached out over social media. Yeah, it's been a while, hasn't it, actually?
Been looking forward to it myself, yeah. Very delighted to be on as well. Nice professional setup, so first proper podcast, so
yeah.
Happy you.
It's nice to be called a proper podcast. Yeah. You used to have to try and break people into office blocks over in Airside Swords.
Yeah.
We're running into my office upstairs. Yeah. We've come a long way since that.
It's a game changer, but like just to give people a bit of an idea, like of the type of thing that happens with the likes of this, like we would be fairly prominent online and we'd be posting stuff all the time, and we're always looking for, you know, new guests to come on to have, you know, like either a thrilling story or something, you know, that needs to be shared, that either gives people a bit of confidence to maybe do something with their life because they're stuck in a rut, or
100%.
they could have fell on hard times and feel like, you know, there's no way out or something like that. So to hear stories that you're going to tell us tonight, like, not only gives people a bit of a bright look on their future, but it will definitely, beacon of hope, exactly. Like, so the fact that we were able to link in through myself and Keith doing this podcast, you know, we got talking, and it's easy enough just to have a bit of a conversation over the phone, which we did, like, and
that was a long time ago, even before we actually were where we're at now as a fully fledged business. Like, they just took a chance on me before that even happened, and obviously now things have progressed quite a lot. So it's nice to get this.
Yeah, like nobody talked to us before this. Did they say already?
We try to get people before they become famous. You know?
How do we get out and talk to people? Let's set up a podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Any excuse.
Now we're friends.
Yeah, now we're mates. Yeah, loads of friends now we have.
But like we do it like every episode, and I know like it can be fairly, you know, copy and paste on everything, but like we do like to go back a bit, like, and just give people a bit of an idea of who the guest is and
100%.
where they came from and where they grew up. So if you'd like to share, you know, with our listeners a little bit about where your young Sean grew up and what was life like in Dublin for him growing up, you know?
Yeah, well, I grew up in Finglas West, up around I kind of grew up all over Finglas. Lived in 10 different houses before my mum got a council house. That was when I was in first year, so a lot of moving around. Kind of never got settled. Just up and down. My dad wasn't around. Didn't really like school too much, but I was a good kid. I was an intelligent kid. I was into my games and PlayStation and stuff like that. Was never going into sports. But yeah, I went to Canis's Boys in Finglas, and then went on to Benevan College for secondary school.
Would that have affected you, think, emotionally, like growing up, not having your father around?
Moulded everything that was going to happen going on, because obviously there's a male and a female energy, and if your mum is always going to doubt you, your dad's there to teach you how to be a man. Now I had a stepfather who came into my life when I was about 4, great man, absolute gentleman, and was the only father that I ever really had. But obviously, being a child, and a very young child in that situation, that was conflict there. Not my own doing, because I was too young to realise, but I could never accept him. And it was nearly like having not the whole time, like But
in certain moments, like,
looking back on it, I put that man through hell, you know. God bless him, and fair play to him. You know, he obviously, it shows how much he loved my mother. Do you know what I mean? He took me and my sister on as his own.
yeah,
My sister, obviously, like, she calls him dad and all. We call him Deco. Shout out Deco, the man. But it comes with a lot of regret as well. It was only in my later years, recently, up in maybe the past 5 years, that I can't realise like how lucky I was to have that, you know. And so I wish that we kind of appreciated that a lot more. But yeah, not having my father in the picture definitely did shape everything then that we went through going forward.
And even like we know a couple of lads as well up our way that would have had the same thing. Some of them might even have found out that they were, you know, they were fostered from the other parent, like later on in their childhood, and they would have acted up. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's kind of like some kids use as nearly an excuse sometimes to get in trouble or acting up and stuff like that. But in terms of like being in school and stuff, would you have shown any early signs of entrepreneurship, or, you know, or a want for what you were doing after school or anything?
So there was signs of entrepreneurship, but it wouldn't have been until secondary school. Like, I always wanted to be an inventor. That's what I would like. That's when my man, me and Nanny used to always say, like, I used to want to be an inventor. And I remember it myself. I used to be into Lego and stuff like that. And I just liked making things, and into me Lego, and I was always reading books, and I liked like how it's made, and, you know, the Mythbusters and all of that sort of thing. I just had an interest into like how things worked. Again, done engineering in secondary school, done tech drawing. I was good at them two subjects. They were the only two things. They were the only things I was good at, you know. When I was in secondary school, like I said, I grew up, I was a nerdy kid. And I kind of taught myself everything through YouTube tutorials. And on the early days of YouTube, my ma's laptop was riddled with viruses. It was pirate and everything. I was getting like Photoshop and Illustrator and stuff like that. Sony Vegas and different. They're all well outdated now.
The floppy disks.
Yeah, well, no, not that. I'm only 26, man. Yeah, that's before my time. But I taught myself graphic design. I seen people on YouTube doing speed arts, so it was basically just a screen recording of their screen making artwork and sped up. And I was like, that's the coolest thing ever. Yeah. And then I wanted to do that, so I was thousands of hours into YouTube tutorials, and was kind of just doing little bits here and there for like gaming YouTube channels and stuff. And I ended up then, it was, you know, I was going to the gym and I was going out, and I wasn't a little fat kid anymore, you know. I was kind of getting a smell of myself, and I was like, I need money. You know, then obviously that wasn't a whole lot of money in my family, like, and so I was doing the graphic design. I actually made stuff for Rob Lipsey in his early days. Another guy, Arden Smith.
You know him, do you?
Another guy, Arden Smith, he'd be fairly big. He was got by Mr. Fly at the time.
Was this all while you were still in school, or was it
still in school, kind of 5th, 6th year? Now it was just kind of freelance thing, here and there, but
still, like, I mean, an average like young lad would be thinking, I'll go down and work in the garage or the local shop.
Well, it's hard, a job, unless you knew someone. Like, you know, when you're a teenager.
Those lads were probably well up and coming at that stage.
They were young. They were young.
Like,
I think Arden had probably 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, maybe less. Rob would have probably had like 30 or 40,000, I think, at the time.
Not bad for YouTube though.
No, back then, like, you know.
Back then, it was only starting, like, really.
But he probably doesn't even remember me, like, you know what I mean? It was a long time ago now. But that would have kind of been the early stage. See, there was an influence that my ma's always been a bit of a hustler, like, you know what I mean? She's always had some little crafty thing going on, or like she's mad. She's a finger and everything she'd be doing is like she'd be doing. She makes photo frames and she does balloon arches and stuff. Like, she's always has some hustle.
She's never stuck, like.
No, you stuck, like. You know what I mean? I'm the oldest of 5 kids. It's a busy.
She never stuck for ideas.
Never stuck for ideas. But she's always done her best. So it's kind of been in me some way, shape or form to do something. I just kind of never took up on it until recent years.
But that, like, you know, you think of the likes of lads getting their toe dipped into some sort of entrepreneurial pool at an early age, like where you start to see the money coming in. That's money that you've earned through hard work, that you've taught up yourself and actually brought to fruition.
Yeah.
That must have at least sparked something in you to think that, like, right, if I go down a route of maybe into employment after school, that there's always the potential there to go in and do something for myself.
Yeah.
That was, well, look, I got lost in, it would have been 6th year. See, I went completely opposite from everyone else. I didn't drink, I didn't do drugs, or anything, up until I was about 17. But it goes back further than that. I was bullied in primary school. And like I said, my mum wrapped me up in bubble wrap. I wasn't allowed to hang around with English because she didn't want me going up the way what she'd witnessed in English. Doing what a good mother was doing her best.
Protecting,
I was bullied in school, and you know, you come back and you're raging, like, do you know what I mean? I'm getting hit, whatever, and like, and you know, and so I was like, you can't go in, you can't be haunting other people, you can't be doing this, right? So I was then stuck, and I was, you know, it kind of ate away at me, and that always felt like I had something to prove, or I wasn't good enough. And then obviously as I got older, I started training and I was going to the gym, and I took up a bit of MMA with me. A friend of mine was training under Owen Ruddy, still in the teens classes there for a while, not a whole long time, but like in between things. But I always kept the gym up, and I was like, well, I'm never like going to let someone bully me again. And that kind of led me down the wrong path then. And I got involved in other things that happened in English. And it was when my mum got sick and collapsed the day I started my leaving cert. She got blood clots and ended up in intensive care that whole summer. And I started getting involved in other things then, and started getting a taste for money and things like that. And then that turned into addiction then. I started dabbling. I got addicted to cocaine. Not from the I would say, well, look, I always say if you start once, it's going to happen again. But it started kind of snowballing, and then I was,
as it does,
involved in other things that was feeding that lifestyle, and you know, putting money in my pocket and stuff like that. I had went to college. I didn't do a great leaving cert. I got a B2 honours in engineering. That was the only, in Jordan 6th year, I was going through a bit of a rough spot. Kind of mental health wise from 3rd year and on up to about 6th year. Suicidal thoughts and all that sort of thing. As most teenagers go through now, like it's commonplace now. I think it's 1 in 2, or even higher than that.
Was the drugs? Would you think the drugs was that a comfort, that stuff, or was it just because it was within the social settings that you were in at the time?
It's kind of nearly peer. See, what I think happened was, a lot of my friends were doing these things from an earlier age. But I was going to the gym and I wasn't into all of that, and I was like, it was all dopes and like, you know, like Then because I was a late bloomer and I didn't start, I was 17, and I was catching up then. You know, so I was like, oh, this is what I've been missing out on. You're young and you're like especially blokes, like your brain's not developed there. You know, you don't have the sense. You don't have the sense. Like some people don't have the sense until into their 40s. Like, you know what I mean? I still don't have sense, but I'm a lot more sensible than I was.
Yeah, you can see it now. Yeah,
you're in fast forward mode then.
Everything just went downhill. Like I had left school obviously, and I wanted to do automotive management and technology in Bolton Street when it was DIT at the time. Because I'd loved cars. I've always loved cars, car mad, and didn't think we'd get points. 250 points, wasn't really sure that we'd do a great leaving cert.
Right.
Ended up getting exactly 250 points, but I didn't put it down. Computing in ITB again, I was into computers, was 200 points. So I had put that down, and I didn't even put automotive management and technology down for any of the rest of them. So we ended up going into that, and I like computers the way I know computers, but when you go into computing, oh my God.
There's about a million different sections.
It's just really boring. You know, it's a very boring. And then obviously I was involved in other things, and I was like, well, I can make a lot more money doing this. Now you can't, but still, child brain, you know.
It's all the dream.
Yeah, I ended up dropping out of that, but I was starting to get into addiction then as well. I had then went on to work for AIB Bank. My first job, I was working as my job title was FSG, Operative South Financial Services Group. Basically, I done debt restructure in the Ballsbridge headquarters, back when the bank centre across from the RDS was AIB's headquarters. I was like, nice, you know. I was like, I was with AIB's youngest hire at the time, ever, and
was that interview process there?
Through a friend. Now we did the whole interview process and all that, but I was put onto it by a relative of a friend of my mum's. And we can talk the talk, and I went in.
Something in itself.
I went in the suit and all, and I looked the part or whatever, and you know,
came across well.
Yeah, I was like, look, I don't know anything, but I'm willing to learn.
Yeah.
I it kind of like the whole time when I left school, I was on off with the drugs.
Yeah.
So it would be like 6 months, even sometimes longer. It just depended. And at that time, I was trying to get myself back together, but I still wasn't there. I got the job and I was on good money.
Were you with the partner at the time? Your partner now?
No. Me and Cloud are together nearly 4 years now in February.
Did you have any support at the time, or were you just a lone wolf out there?
I had great family support. Great family. I destroyed my family relationship. Through all of that. I had such a good family. I was supposed to be the role model for my little brothers and sisters. Again, the oldest 5. And looking back, like, I was such an arsehole. Excuse me. That's grand, yeah. I was such an asshole and just didn't cop on. Like, I didn't think of all the other people I was hurting and all the trouble. And then like what I was setting an example of then as well, you know, it was like, it was all, you know, dopes and just the brain wasn't with it at all. I just thought everyone was going out to get me into stuff, and I don't really know what way I was thinking. It's
adolescence, isn't it? Young, you know.
Yeah.
It's a weird one, because you hear from other people telling similar stories that we've had on the podcast through other seasons that would have got addicted to certain types of drugs, and similar to that, like some great minds, some you know, stories that it falls back into some sort of like self-preservation, so you know you're doing something for a reason.
Yeah.
You don't really want to be either affecting the people that are close to you, or you don't want to have that touch upon them. So you nearly push them away. Yeah. And you're nearly happy for them to be pushed away. Like, you know what I mean?
I think it's an escape as well. Like, especially, like I said, I was going through a lot of stuff, suicidal thoughts and stuff like that. And when you're doing a drug like cocaine, it's
a comfort. To sort of numb it, like, isn't it? To numb them thoughts, really.
Yeah, you're just a different person. You're not yourself. You're a completely fake version of yourself. You think, oh, you're full of confidence and all of this, but that goes down. After a while, it becomes a thing where I really hated doing that drug, but I couldn't stop myself from doing it.
Did you hate yourself?
Oh yeah, yeah. I was a wreck. Like, I was just on a suicidal path or self-destructive path, and like, I couldn't keep anything good. I was like, I think I always kind of went undiagnosed with like ADHD and different things, and I think there was so much kind of buried in me that it was like a comfort thing, but I just couldn't kind of break away from it. It was always, look, in today's day and age, it's always there. But I could never break it. Like, I was always a yes man, and that was my biggest problem, was I was always trying to keep other people happy. And again, that goes back to my childhood and all of that sort of thing, was just always wanting to keep people happy. Do you know what I mean? I always was just trying to avoid conflict. Yeah. And like, I couldn't cut people off, or I'd end up feeling bad for someone, or, you know, like, oh, you're my and you will fucking, you know,
That's probably, would that have been where, like, maybe if, like, I know you said you had a father figure, but, like, where a father would have come in for the conflict side of it,
like the whole, I bring it all back to, like, the whole thing with getting involved and what I was getting involved in was putting on a facade of a hard man act.
Yeah.
Because I was bullied in school and I always felt like I had to, even though like that was all of this was probably imagined.
Yeah.
And then again, you're growing up in English West, like it's doggy dog out there, like it's
you have to put on the persona.
You'd be walked into the ground like unless you play football or you're like, you know, you're the class clown or you're, you know, you're someone's family or something. You're gonna be walked into the ground, like, do you know what I mean? And I built this completely fake persona. Do you know what I mean? To save myself, but we only ended up making things worse. You know, I destroyed my life.
I have one or two close friends that went down the same path. They're still in it, so to get out of it, and you know, there's a lot to be said. Like the lads I know now, one is gone, one is died, and the other one is on a.
So look, my own father was the same. My own father was an addict, and he was involved in things himself, and that was part of the reason why. Like we went up one year at Christmas to see him in a rehab up in the Rutland Centre, close to here.
Yeah.
And I thought I didn't know I was only kidding. He was like, I'm just up here for me back. Sitting there around like that. I said, no, I didn't know. I was like, yeah. But it was only then I found out everything about my father for myself. It was all kept from me because, again, just my man trying to be a good parent and all that.
It's hard.
We didn't know. So then we had to go out and find out things about myself and my dad that we never even knew through other people and heard it through the street and through other people. And
at a young age as well.
Like all of this has a massive effect on it subliminally. You don't realise it. I don't care, whatever, but it does have a big effect on you. Do you know what I mean?
And you're acting like you don't care as well, even worse again.
And if we had maybe that guidance or like, do you know what I mean? Someone there. You can't live on what ifs and maybes. Like, do you know what I mean? My life happened. I don't have any regrets. I regret not accepting my stepfather because he's a savage dad. And look, he owns me two little brothers and my youngest sister. Great kids, and you can see the difference. Do you know what I mean? Like how cool and collected, and they're just chill kids.
I don't think I'd be the only kid that would have reacted that way. You know what I mean? I think that's a common thing, and I think it's like a trial by fire to somebody else that's coming in and taking position.
It was my own doing too. So like I put my hands up, I completely like there was plenty of times where I just didn't care about anyone else. But again, there was things that had reasons behind it that I had to coming out of addiction. Even before that, we went to counsellors and different things and was trying to. I've always been very self-aware. Still very self-destructive. But going through recovery and having me child and all, like I kind of take a deep dive mentally of what makes me tick, because I couldn't be the dad that we had for my child. And we always knew, like from a young kid that I used to spend every weekend by the window crying because the only friends we had were over where my dad lived. It was nice. They were great friends. I'm still friends with them today. But my man was all right with me going over there and having friends over there. It sounds I wasn't going to get pulled in. And like I'd be living for that every weekend. Do you know what I mean? To go over and see me friends. And we know myself. It's only looking back on the situations that I put myself in. I understand now where my dad was. Do you know what I mean? So I don't hold it against him because I can understand. But we never got that. Do you know what I mean? We never got to kind of break that down. But like we spent most weekends in my childhood by the window, like in bits, crying, like in a bed, like as a kid. That's mental torture.
What was the turning point that got you into recovery?
Having me child, my partner, my child. Now my partner seeing me through some bad days as well. Like it was so. What was it? My dad died in October. Me and my dad had a big falling out a couple of months before that. It's a regret as well, but I think it was years coming. I won't talk too much on it. But we had a big fall now, and the two of us weren't on good terms or whatever, and we seen each other. It was, you know, kind of game on sort of thing. And yeah, we got a phone call then one morning in October off my friend that lived across the road. And he goes, here you go. We'd seen my dad an hour before he died. And I tore the back tires of my car, gone by him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The two of us were like that though, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It was like, you know. And it was a scary fella, like, do you know what I mean? He was on my leg, like, do you know what I mean? You know, but I seen him an hour before he died. And I got called the next morning, and my mate rings me and he goes, here, son, he goes, I don't think your dad's alright. And I goes, whatever, like. And he goes, no, like, he's after having a heart attack. And I was like, you know, so what, like? Because I was so angry. It's years and years and years of things built up. And look, that was, like, not to slight the man inside you, that when he was good, and like, but all of that got brushed under the rug by all of the bad.
It's few and far between, like. And
obviously found out that he had died. Like, my mate said, no, like, he's gone, like, and I was like, great. I was still full of rage, and I was like, whatever, like, I don't care and all of this. And Clouda was like, I don't think you're all right, like, you know. I was like, yeah, no, grand. I was like, you go to work. She's like, no, I'm not going to work, you know. She's like, and so anyways, my little cousin rings me and he goes, hey, look, we're all up on the beach, come on there. He goes, come up, and I was like, you know, so that's what you do. And I went up and would face me nanny then. Like, that was because the stuff that we had going on, and all, a lot of stuff I think got mixed up, you know. And I think I ended up getting painted as a bad person. Do you know what I mean? Whereas things got lost in translation. And look, I won't go into too much about it, but my dad died, funeral happened, and it was, well, I was driving home then from the funeral. The people were coming up to me at the funeral after and all, they were flying in my arms and all. They were like, oh, you're just like him, and you talk just like him, and you walk just like him. I was like, wait me. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't even, I was after being the mad one. Do you know what I mean? For the days prior. I think it was probably about 5 days or something before, and like, slept a wink. I was, you know, I was doing drugs and all. I wasn't really, I was fresh for the funeral. My whole family showed up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why the family don't talk to me since they kind of get the blame from doing. You know, look, it's family things happen. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing you can do. But when I was driving home from the after to the funeral with Clouda, it was like a video of the good times. Just played in my mind. I know he wasn't like I just it was just like everything, like the good times, because when he was good, he was smashing, and he was a great fella and extremely intelligent, and there was one of the best turnouts of funeral I've ever seen. Everyone was like, oh yeah, that's a great man. I was like, well, like, I'm glad.
That you thought,
you know, but most people didn't even know he was a kid, you know what I mean? And I did the kind of video in my mind to go over the bad times, and I had to stop. I was lying down in my ma's mobile down in Arklow, and I stopped midway in the M50. I just screamed, and I mean wailed from down here. Like, I'd never cried like this in my whole entire life. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I couldn't drive. I ended up falling asleep. The cloud was sitting there like, on the hard sound at the M50, and I literally, I was just in bits. And then it was probably like 3 weeks later I found out we were having Ava, and it was just like, this is it. Do you know what I mean?
Turning point.
Now look, the first year wasn't without its bumps. I had 3 fuck ups that year, which was a lot better than what I was at, but I was still beating myself up over it. Do you know what I mean? That was other kind of factors going in it, but it was my own mistakes. I've been clean now nearly 3 years.
Well done. Good on you.
But I always knew that I wouldn't be the father that we had, and my child would never grow up with that, and that was the turning point for me. But that was a lot that went with it, you know what I mean? Like, it was an awful lot. Like,
so did you find yourself then finding some sort of level normality then, going for a period of time? After
my
that?
life has never been full of normality. It's still to this day. It's not full of like, my life. I kind of thrive in chaos. Though I think, I don't know if it's the ADHD or what. Like, I can't do small things. You come to me with a small problem, big things, mad stuff going on. No problem. No problem. That sounds chill. You know what I mean? But the small things, like, can't find something. You know, but yeah, that since then there hasn't really been normality, because obviously we were expecting the baby. We were we obviously then I got myself back working. I was in full-time employment. I was working for Nissan as a service advisor for about a year and a half, and then we got an opportunity at another big garage.
That goes back to what you were hoping to get into
In the first
place.
I was happy. I was delighted. I was like working in a dealership and all, you know. No, it was Nissan. You don't have a great name anymore, but I was happy to be walking around cars, and you know, and my life was getting back on track. I was, it felt good.
Yeah.
And I was offered then, after we had the baby, probably about a month old. I was offered €100 extra a week and a half day on a Friday. I was like, lovely.
Where it is.
Yeah, gives a go with that. At a more reputable dealership. I was like, great, cool, this is, and got in. It was doing parts, and got in. Lads were sound, bit of crack. Like I say,
in your element.
I have like a photographic memory for reg plates and part numbers, and we're fairly knowledgeable about cars. It was going great. Around November time, 2023, this big tumour just sprouted out of my lip within the space of a month, and it was huge. Veins and all in it, and got to a point where I sleep like a ton of bricks. I find it very hard to go to sleep, but when I'm asleep, then and Cloud woke me up one morning with blood all down my neck, all over my face and my hands and all. I don't know whether I bit it or what story happened. Cloud thought I was dead. She's trying to wake me up and on. I was like, what do you want? Like, do you know what I mean? And I was like, what's going on?
Blood bubbles.
And she's like, I thought you were dead, man. She's flying. And I was like, what? I was like, and then I was like, oh, right.
Where's that coming from?
I knew it was going on. I was like, it's just something, you have to have a man. We don't go to the doctor. No, be grand.
Leave it to the last minute.
Oh, the lads I'm walking over, like, you should go get that checked out, like. And with the day off, obviously, I have the bad eczema from 2 or 3 months old. So we'd heard in with a skin specialist on a Thursday, and with the day off, so we used that morning to go down to the dentist to get the mouth cancer screening. And at the end, the dentist is taking me details, so he's just back talking to me and take me details or whatever. And he goes, right, so what am I looking at? And he goes like that. And he's like, face dropped, and he goes, mate, we can get you referred straight away. He goes, I've seen that before, it's mouth cancer. Now, without any sort of doing that, but I didn't know, we'd never go to a doctor. I thought you go to a mouth, you go to the dentist, go get a screen, right, cool. Fine there, like a stun grenade went off, the ringing in my ears and all, and everyone's talking to me, and I'm just like, I've done everything, I'm clean, I'm walking, I've my baby, everything's swell, after the new job, a little bit of money going on and stuff. Claudia was only after taking unpaid maternity, so she was on paid maternity leave. She got the extended unpaid about a month prior. So I went out straight away. First thing for me was ring me boss. Do you know what I mean? Because I was in the mode of keeping the job down. I didn't know what to think today. I need money coming in because I went on to Google. It's the worst thing that you can do. We don't go on Google. But when I looked, it looked exactly like what we had, and it was like stage 3, stage 4. Right, so when they're bringing up life insurance companies and all before they get a real diagnosis to try to see can I get something going. So at least if we do, if something does happen, there's something there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was, like, I felt like the rug was being pulled out from under me.
Yeah.
So I goes in to the job the next day. A man pulls me in, and he goes, "Look, I'm gonna have to get you to pack your bags." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And he goes, "I'm going to need someone reliable." And I goes, "What do you mean reliable?" I goes, "I'm here every day." I goes, "And the lads are like, there's no issues, like, do you know what I mean?" And he was like, "Yeah, look, just gonna." We couldn't even argue with him with the ball. I hadn't cried in years, other than when we obviously me baby and all of that. But we never just like went out and thought, "Oh." With a lump in my throat, I couldn't even argue with him. I was about to start bawling me eyes out. And I just went there, I just walked out and I just went to start packing my things. Lads are like, "What's going on?" Tears coming down my eyes. I was like, "Oh, what's going on?" You know what I mean? I went out to the car and we literally bawled my eyes out and I was like, I can't even know what to tell her. I was like, do you know what I mean? I was just like, what do I do? And anyways, on weekly pay, no savings behind me on that. I was acting the MAGA for however long the years prior. Obviously the baby and stuff, but like your first year having a baby, all your money goes out getting everything sorted and all of that other thing. I was only had to take a loan out for a car. Right?
Yeah.
So literally the rug was just yanked out from under me. It took a man 6 weeks to give me my termination of employment letter. And I was hounding him over for it, and it turned out we actually ended up going up to the garage and going bananas. And then I got it. So obviously
you need that for the next.
because you can't go homeless, right? I would never sign on the housing list or that. My mum was like, "Yeah, right, then you go out and you do whatever." Yeah, what do you know? You know what I mean? I should have done it. Yeah, but I couldn't sign on for that because I wasn't on social welfare. Couldn't sign on to social welfare because I hadn't got the thing. You're not going to get a job, like, you know yourself. You apply for 1,000 jobs, you'd be lucky to hear back off 3 of them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we'd try to get money and resulted in me doing some sketchy stuff in shops to get baby food and stuff. Look, I had to make ends meet. I had to make sure the baby was fed and stuff like that. And then you have to rigmarole to sign on for the social welfare and getting all the stuff together. And then you have to go and do the rigmarole in Woodkey, where the council offices are, to go and then get on the housing list.
Yeah.
And then you have to be verified as homeless. And then the try sort out emergency accommodation. We couldn't go back to my mum's because, again, the oldest of 5. So my mum, my stepdad, 4 kids. And then I have a family in a 3-bedroom gaff in Finglas. There would have been 10 of us living there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, couldn't, like, we
can't,
So we were sleeping. So we were giving the baby to my mum at night. Obviously, we would go in during the day or whatever, get a bit of food or a wash or whatever. And the baby'd sleep in my mum's room. And we'd be sleeping in the car. Because there's no space for us, literally no space for us, like. And so we're sleeping out of the car in my mum's garden for couple of weeks until like they'd send someone out to us and verify that we were homeless. And I think it was start of April we were in emergency accommodation. So we lost my job in December. I was practically homeless then by January.
Jesus Christ.
6-month-old baby.
Isn't it mad? And that probably consumes a lot of time trying to get all that stuff sorted. Like,
did you feel let down?
I just felt like I'm after doing so much to get me life. What's with the tests? I was like, why? But
did you feel like you were trying to do things right in life, and that when it comes to a head like that, that you would think that in this day and age, in the country that we are, that there should be quicker responses for, you know, especially families like who need to be looked after, you know what I mean?
Well, the thing with homelessness now is it's not just down and outs and drug addicts and, you know, like your stereotypical homeless people. It's everyday people who are walking still. are forced into homelessness. Like, I know people who are both working, they've their mortgage and they've their bills and their kids, and they're relying on food banks. Like, there's just regular everyday people are being pushed into homelessness now. Like, they say the figures are lied about as well. So over 250,000 silent homeless in Ireland. Look, you can't say a quicker response or whatever. I think, like, the whole rigmarole of being left waiting by my job and stuff like that, getting down, like, there's only so much that, like, the people that work, and you have to remember these people are just working a job at the end of the day, trying to make their own ends meet.
Yeah.
They're extremely limited by funding and stuff. Homelessness is a profitable business. When you look into Dublin City Council and how they run, if you buy a house, you hand it over to the council, they'll give you 80 to 92% of the average market rate for the rent in your area, guaranteed, plus a €50,000 renovation grant. So, like, if you're setting up, say you buy a big house, the place that we're in now was 17 units. It's like an old Victorian house, 17 units. Right. Across two houses. House was sold for €3.5 million back in 2015. So where we are, I won't say where we are, but the average market rent is high.
It's high, yeah.
And they'd be down as self-contained 1-bedroom apartments, say. So they're getting at least €2,000 per unit with the grants on top of it. That's over €420,000 guaranteed to them every year. That mortgage was paid off in less than 10 years, and plus some change then.
They're not leaving themselves stuck anyway. So
it's a profitable business. It's like there's too many people with their hands in the pockets of it. Yeah. It's the same with the iPass centres.
Do you think that's what slows it down?
Yeah. Look, I wouldn't be the expert on it, but having lived in it, like, there's a lot to it.
Yeah,
there's an awful lot to it. You can't say it's a shoddy system. I think that I think if that people had tax reliefs, or if the wages were bumped up, or if there was more jobs going, look, it's hard to say.
Perfect storm and stuff.
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Did you come closer together during that time, going through that experience together? Like,
absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Well, look, it's living in homelessness, right? Like, you'd think being in family hubs and stuff like that would be a lot simpler than it is. It's not. It's more so that the kids are involved, right? And that'll sound, you can deal with whatever. The stuff the kids are witness to in family homelessness is appalling. Right, and I've been an addict myself. I would still say that I'm an addict. Like, I never really truly healed. My addiction now is money in the business. Do you know what I mean? Receiving that Shopify rings and I get that little ka-ching notification when I get a sale. That's my addiction has just shifted to something else. I wouldn't look down on anyone, but I think there should be segregation. There's an awful lot of just normal people that do not have these issues. You're mixed in with severe drug addiction. I'm not just talking about your couple of sniffs on the weekend, or people who take maybe sleeping tablets to go to sleep and stuff like that. Severe drug addictions, right? And they're in there with their own kids. They're in there around your kids. The stuff that the kids, the last place we were in, we had to get out of that because my partner was attacked. Jesus. Yeah. There's so much that goes on, and as well, there's so much then brushed under the rug. Like, we were reporting issues, not just with people, but there was cockroach infestation. There was staff members that were inappropriately acting around women and children. There was so much dangers going on. We were reporting it to the council, and the council were like, what the council did was they get onto the ombudsman. The council gets on to the line manager of the place that you're in. Yeah. Now, a lot of them are NGOs or charities and stuff like this. So if you're raising issues to the council about a place, why would they then ring the place? Why would they not come out and conduct an independent investigation? So obviously the line manager comes back and says, "Oh, that's grand." So the council will give you back this and say, "Right, we've looked at this, and this, all your points. and what they found, which is always going to be, no, you're nuts and nothing's actually going on. If you have any issues, report back to the ombudsman, right? But the ombudsman will only deal with Dublin City Council properties. So when you're in an NGO or a charity, that's a grey area where they can kind of operate whatever way they want, because again, they think you're down and out, or they think you're homeless, and you're not going to actually do anything about it. Now, normally your hands are to it, there's not much you can do about it.
Other than speak out.
But the system in itself is a shambles, and how the people who are treated, like, there's an awful lot of suffering that goes on in this. You know what I mean? And there's an awful lot of things that have happened to people in homelessness and stuff that could have been avoided if it was handled better.
Yeah.
You know, what we've noticed is, especially with all of these charities, and I want to do a lot of charity work with Goosey Goo, but I will never hand money, I will never hand a cent to a charity. I will go out and do the work myself. What I've noticed with these charities is there's too many chiefs and not enough Indians. You've got all these great board of directors and these people. So the last place we went in, right, every Wednesday they had these company meetings, say, whatever they are, an NGO charity. So many of these people come in suits and all, right? There was 5 social workers who were, and they weren't there the whole time. So there was probably only about 2 on with a receptionist looking after 32 families. Do you know what I mean?
Not enough,
Stretched.
Like, how can you have so many of these directors and people of, like, how can you have all of that going on and not have the actual ground workers there to look after the people that need to look after, the people who are actually putting that money in your pocket?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's it. You mentioned there, obviously, during that about the addiction, and, you know, it probably sticks with you, and that you've turned it on its head and you're putting it towards something good now, and the ping comes on the phone and it's Shopify, and that's Goosey Goo.
Yeah.
Where did the initial seed for that stem from?
The seed for Goosey Goo? Yeah. So, like I said, we were in the last place that we were in. We had made friends with it was all mainly women there. There was the only kind of man there with his partner. There was another one or two, but we all became friends. And we used to sit down, have a cigarette or whatever down, smoking a cup of tea. It was the only bit of normality that you had. And again, you're in homes, it's very lonely. So we became like a support network for each other. So there was us, me, Claudia, there was Shannon, there was Chandel, there was Emma, there was Nicole. There was probably one or two others. We get killed now for that name. But like, all the stuff that went on that year, like, we were out there since February. That was when Claudia got attacked. Like, without them, we would have been goosed.
Yeah.
That's where the name came from.
So me and Claudia were looking, obviously, again, Ava needed skin-specific clothing. She got really bad eczema from the time she was about 2 months. And I mean, head to toe covered. Like, she'd open wounds, the whole lot. And
it's not easily accessible out there for kids when you go looking for it. Like, there's not really.
No, well, it's very expensive. Look at the options are there.
Yeah.
It's very expensive.
But for the average family, like, I mean, that's there, and like what you said, out there struggling day to day.
Like, me and Claudia had a decent income between the two of us. She was on paid maternity leave, but he was getting a weekly wage. Every time I ever needed to go up. So the average kind of price for we sell bamboo clothes. Bamboo it's naturally hypoallergenic, and it's more breathable. It runs about 3 degrees cooler than cotton on average. So again, heat is a big thing, irritation and stuff like that. So it is overheating, they're gonna get warm. We know myself, I have eczema myself, so does Claudia. The average price for bamboo clothing or 100% organic cotton is 25, 30 euros per sleep suit, and then you're looking at about anywhere between 10 to 15 euros a vest. So obviously baby goes up in size every 2. An Irish baby, that big baby, so you can grow a bit quicker than average. So I would say every 2 months, right? Yeah, I'm going to be buying, two vests, 2 sleep suits for each day.
That's what I say, you know how many changes you have to go through in a day, like.
But that's being modest, two
being modest,
vests, because you know yourself, you get sick or they hack themselves, or you know what I mean?
You know yourself, you change them. As soon as you change them, they end up doing it
Yeah,
again.
you know what I mean? You never know what's in store. So, like, if you're getting 2 and 2, say, right, you're looking at what, 10, we'll just say €10 a vest, and then you're looking at 25, 30 euros. That's, you're nearly 100 quid into a day's worth of clothes, right? So every time you have to go up, then, say, for example, 600 quid.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which we could afford at the time. Now, we'd still be very expensive, but we were able to do it.
Yeah.
Obviously, then we fell into homelessness. We were on $350 a week between the three of us. Do you know what I mean? We couldn't go back to work because of how dangerous it was. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, cloud is very quick, and when you're in them situations and you've got different crowds mixed in together, they prey on the weak. Do you know what I mean? I was not comfortable leaving the two of them there. Do you know what I mean? I still don't be comfortable because, like, they have access, they can come in, and now we are in our homes whenever. So it was like, right, well, how do we get out of this? There's no supports. There's no, like, with our numbers on the housing list have came down 30 points in over a year and a half. Our lowest number was like 480. Still.
In, like, is that like a line system? Like, so
yeah, I think
it
goes up and goes down. Yeah, I think the lower you are, the lower that you are,
the better.
The better. Obviously 480 is 480 families area, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and then obviously people come in,
and then that comes down to
stuff.
how much building is going on, and even if there is building going on, they get held up, and they're like, the numbers of apartments, it's going to be what, 3 years, 4 years, depending on how long they take. I know they fly some of them up in these space frame gigs that they have going on, but like, we were looking at 25 years on the housing list, like, that's what you're going to look at. You can't get Christ. Because you can't even go and get a viewing, you know. Like you say it, the queues, people can't even go and, but they get their mortgages, they can't even go and buy a house because there's queues of 500 people trying to buy a house.
They have to be in somewhere to get that. Like,
well, right, so we were going to viewings. Now, you're lucky to get a viewing. You'll apply, like, there'll be nights there, you'll be sitting and you're on Daft and you're on myhouse.ie and you're on all of them and you're applying. And, like, my emails are full to the brim of, I've applied for it, blah, blah, blah. We've gotten, like, 3 viewings in the past year and a half. We went out to one in Delahan and we're like, lovely. It was a nice house or whatever, €2,000 a month, 1875 off the homeless hap. And then you make up the rest through your, whatever you paid. We got there was like 10 people there and we were like, right, well, we're the only one here with a baby. Like, you know what I mean? So we got there about 15 minutes early. In that 15 minutes, I'm not even messing, there was about 200 people there. And that was just for one viewing at 11 o'clock.
They're all there for the same point.
So, you know, like, them viewings go on all day. You're going to take the big wad of cash quicker than you're going to take, like, I know it's government money that they're getting.
And it's guaranteed.
But if you're getting 6 months to a year up front, they're going to be like, right, give me that, you know.
There's paperwork though, yeah.
So, it's a disaster, but basically, we used to all sit down and have a cigarette or whatever and just chat shit.
Yeah.
And one night, Cloud was looking there. It was me, Cloud, and Nicole. I think Shannon was there as well. And she was on Alibaba, the Chinese manufacturing superstore. Yeah. And she was like, Sean, there's them clothes that Ava wears. And, like, I think they're coming in at like €4 or €5. And I was like, well, for a while before that, I've gone on a spiritual deep dive and I've been kind of praying and asking for help and stuff like that. And I do a lot of things, again, cars, reg plates, all of that, angel numbers, a sequence of numbers. If you look it up on Google, you'll find out the meaning of every single one, whether it be 2727, 777s, or, like, you never see people and they're like, 1111, like screenshot, you know what I mean? All of them things, if you're seeing a number, you're meant to say it's there. It's something trying to communicate with you, right? So we looking at asking for help, and number came up on a edge play, and when I looked it up, it was like, use your something to do with creativity or whatever, or like your skills. And I was like, right, well, I'm good at graphic design. I was like, well, setting up a graphic design business in this day and age, like, it'd be a tough one. And I was like, how can I use it? Will I get a job or like, what's the story? And that night then, Cloud had seen the the baby grows and stuff like that. And I was like, that's it there. It was like, build the brand. And then it came into the thing, like, what are we going to call it and all of that. Ava used to make these mad little honking noises, and she still kind of does it. Like, from you when they're a baby, you know, they make mad noises. So Claudia was called, hey, little goose, you know what I mean? And we were kind of thinking, we didn't know what we were going to call it for ages. But I wanted to do something kind of, everyone wants a brand now, and they want people to know what they're wearing. You've got like people, they love that luxury girl, like Canada Goose and Moncler and all of this kind of thing, and they have like a badge. So it's like, well, there's no branded baby wear out there. That's obviously where we got the little goose moniker from. Started out as a little doodle, Cloud Thunder, and goes, Goose. And I was like, and we're kind of bouncing around, and it became Goosey Goo. Started out as a little doodle on a sticky note, and I just went on to Photoshop then and put it together.
Developed it,
and then kind of months of like figuring out, I've no business head, like I didn't do well in business and skill, probably should have listened looking back on it now. Just Googled everything, put together the business plan. A crap one now, thinking back, but I was like, this is savage. And then I went and I applied for New Frontiers, Enterprise Ireland, and done that, and then obviously pivoted completely, like still doing the baby clothes, but shifted my mind completely and started thinking a bit better. Met my first mentor, first person to believe me. Well, the first person that was a business person
to believe in it,
The first day I was there, because I went in, and there's phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1 is where you're creating your idea and all of that. Phase 2 is where you're kind of, you have your idea and you're going on to put it into play. It's a €15,000 stipend, tax-free, equity-free. And I was like, I don't really, because when they were going in, I was like, I don't think I should really be here. I was like, I have my business plan and everything put together. I was like, things beyond phase 2. It was your man's name is Colin Keogh. He's Doctor of Innovation and Research or something in UCD. Sound legend. Still keep up with him to this day. He's always in me. He came in and he was like, I'm gonna pick on you. Because obviously I'm there, there you go. And I was like, yeah, walk away. And ended up talking to him. Similar kind of backstory. And I talked numbers to him. And he was like, you have a head on your shoulders. He was like, aren't you need? He goes, I know, it'll help you out. And when from that day then we knew, I was like, right, well, I have something now. If he thinks like this fella works on behalf of the EU on the big tech patents and all of this, like he's a big name. He's 30 under 30 Forbes.
Like a bit of validation,
We text him all the time. Like he's probably like, this fella leaves.
Sorry, ever done.
I'm doing this today. It's like, but he's a boss. He was the first person to kind of believe in.
Take you seriously, like.
Take me seriously, it's someone a prominent name, like, do you know what I mean? I was like, right, well, now we know what I'm on to, you know. But
and he's at the point of selling now, like he's selling products.
Oh yeah, flat out selling now. We're incorporated since 2nd of April. We incorporated, officially trading since the 25th.
Yeah.
What was it like getting your first sale?
Oh, like done drugs for the first time. It was. Obviously, I've been building up. We started the TikTok back in January. Should have started well earlier. And I remember when I first started down the TikTok, I was like, hello, I'm Sean, and I'm homeless, and I'm going to start a business. That first TikTok I done like 30 or 40,000 views, and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I was like, now I have to do it, I was like, that it was like 3 minutes long. No one watched it, like, do you know what I mean?
It's a live validation. Like a lot of that, you put yourself out there. You're not just putting yourself out there, you're putting your business out there, you're putting
your family out there.
Yeah, you're putting your family, the ethos, a whole lot. Like, and
it is scary.
Especially letting people in to...
Especially going back off the whole facade that we did.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then to open up and be brutally honest and be like, like I'm homeless. And
it's a bit of trust as well, like, you know what I mean? You have to be honest going into things like that as well. Like,
Yeah, and
you're
I think
telling yourself as well that, and like that's obviously why you're here as well. Like, you know what I mean? You're letting people know who you are. Like, you know, where, like you said, for plenty of years of your life, you were faking it.
Yeah, faking it. Absolutely.
People back a story or an arc, like they love it. Like it could be in a TV show or a film or reality TV. Like, but to get to know you as a person and to get to know the journey, like, and the hardships, the silver linings that come from it. People love to back that, like, and if you can put that out there and present that story in the right way and appeal to somebody that, you know, really needs a product that is going to be a game changer. But it's not just a product where you can go to any shop and pick up a vest or a baby grow for a child. Like, it's something that child needs. It's a need, like, it's a necessity. It's something that's going to make that child comfortable in their skin. That's not going to be, you know, because I can't afford this, my child now has to suffer because of it. You know what I mean? So it's a game changing product that's at an accessible price, like, and it's through somebody who's been through the hardship, who understands it. And I think that's the difference.
Built our necessity. Do you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, like, I'm the cheapest in Europe by 10 to 15 euros, right? But it's still a luxury to a normal child that doesn't have the skin issues, doesn't need it. It's sure, it's nice and they really enjoy it. The difference is night and day. With people, they would text me, or the lad who texted me there recently, and he was like, he goes, bro, I'm not just texting you, licking your hole. He goes, I put the clothes on my unflet, and he rubbed his arms and goes, ooh. And I was like, you know, for someone, like, for the child to do that, and for that person to pick up and say that to me, like, it was great. But there's children out there like myself who need it day in, day out. Like, if we can save them, like, half the price, like, we'd save you the guts of a nice holiday every year. Do you know what I mean?
Is that your biggest challenge now? Is raising awareness to people that there is a disproportionate price gap between these big chains and what you can actually get the gear for? Like,
yeah, well, look, I don't think a lot of, like, people get tied into consumerism. A lot. Do your bit of research, like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's no VAT on baby clothes. There's no imports or customs fees up until the age 0 to 11 years old. And, like, I think people should know that you're paying an overinflated profit margin.
But you're sharing that through your TikTok lives, like, you're being transparent.
Everything that comes in for me, then if you have to spread the costs and expenses over the year, plus expansion, I'd probably be lucky to make €6 on the product. So for me, it's volume. It's volume. I don't pay myself. Everything is lean as possible. I was working it out of the emergency accommodation up until recently. My auntie said, "Here, use my shed." And I was like, lovely, you know, because I didn't feel right there. Like, at the end of the day, I sell baby clothes and I want everything to be, you know, perfect and neat, and I don't, like, do you know what I mean? I don't want someone saying, but that I have some fella in a blade, you know. But yeah, like, it's kind of raising awareness. Like, if you look, even yourself, if you have kids, right, you go from, once they hit 2 years, the price jumps up about another tenner. But again, why are you paying that extra? Now, obviously, there's extra fabrics used in the bigger clothes,
but they're
not enough to justify the amounts. And see, as well, right, here's the issue. So, our products are Ecotech Standard 100. The fabric is Ecotech Standard 100 certified, which means they're free from over 1,000 harsh chemicals used in the chemical processes. Like, so, cottons, bamboo is a fabric that actually goes through an awful lot. You can never call it organic, even though it's organically grown and all of that. The process that it has to go through makes it not organic. The Ecotech certification makes sure that it's certified from all the harsh chemicals. You go into pennies, right? You're paying mad money in pennies now. It's not pennies anymore. It's tenners and scores. Tenners and scores. That's what should be called, scores. all their stuff now is so this whole eco-friendly thing, and let's make everything out of recycled materials. So you're getting recycled polyester. Polyester is a plastic, right?
Yeah.
And actually, if you look, you can find it on Google. But if you look at polyester under a microscope, there's these like it's a rough fabric. So these little plastic prongs will stick into your skin. You obviously sweat and your pores open. You've got these recycled materials leaching thousands of harsh chemicals, PFAs and BPAs and all this sort of thing into your skin, causing irritation. I noticed myself, we were all the stuff now with all gym gears, all nylon, and that kind of scratchy football material.
Yeah.
My armpits and all, I'd be in bits. So if you can imagine your little baby, they can't communicate. And they're in bed, and obviously children, young babies can't regulate their own temperature. So they're sweating, or they have eczema or anything like that, and then they've got this on their skin. It's
they don't know not to scratch, like you know.
And that's the thing. Like we've built in mittens in our products, so you can have them with or without. Do you know what I mean? Stop them scratching. The guy used to wake up and she'd blood all around her neck and all from scratching. You couldn't stop her from doing it, like you know. So it's just kind of providing a good quality product at a cheap price, still a luxury price. But about 10 to 15 euros cheaper than anyone else in Europe.
Do you ever get imposter syndrome now, even at the position that you're at now with the business, or do you feel that you have a lot more to go before you could even consider that imposter syndrome kicking in?
As in, what is imposter syndrome?
It's like not believing the success that you've already achieved.
I have achieved, like Cloud would just be saying to me all the time, like I did full page in the Irish Examiner in the business section. I was ahead of Elon Musk, right? The whole page. Like I don't talk numbers publicly, but I have done pretty well. Like I sold out the whole batch of stock I brought in less than 2 weeks. I forget to celebrate it, like, do you know what I mean? Look, I don't think I'm there yet. I'm not paying myself for that, and it's still, if you look at it, it's a small business, but I don't feel like I've made it yet, do you know what I mean? Like, but again, I think that's a kind of bad thing and an addict way to look at it, because it's never enough, do you know what I mean? Like,
sometimes there's no time to stop to think, is there?
I've had a lot of, it's been quiet now the past couple of weeks. We got sold out, and we wasn't anticipating selling out that quick, so we didn't have the new stock order. Again, early day teething problems. I'm new to all of this, so it's a learning curve.
But it's selling out, is that just as scary as not selling out?
So scary, because I was like, right, well, if this momentum now, I've had to put off a couple of newspapers and stuff looking for us, and I've had to put that off, because there's no point to me driving the traffic to the Timmy.
You don't have it,
and be like, oh, well, we'll have some stuff soon. If you can wait, people don't want to wait. Do you know what I mean? I have pre-orders up again. They've been very, very slow. I think I've done maybe 8 pre-orders. Again, people want now.
Everybody's now.
Now. I know myself, I'd say pre-orders. Even though the stuff's on the way, I'll only ever put pre-orders up if the stuff's on the way. I'm someone that's so honourable about what I do. I really care. I don't ever want people to have a problem or an issue where they can turn around and say, no, it's bad, you know. Selling out is scary. I've been crippled by anxiety. Crippled by, even when things are going good, I'd still be like, oh, this isn't gonna work.
That's it's a good thing. No, it's a good thing to be anxious. Like, if you're not, like, there's probably something wrong. Like, I've been working on things in the background. We're working on, I suppose I can say it now because I'm ready to release it. We're turning Goosey Goo into basically a baby wear shop, or not a baby wear, a baby product superstore. I was going to ask you what's the
next step.
There we go.
So Goosey Goo.ie is going to be Ireland's leading baby marketplace. So other brands had a bit of stuff going on. Other brands weren't too happy to see what I was doing and stuff like that.
You're definitely doing something right.
Definitely.
That's what I got hit with a cease and desist off someone else for fair marketing practices. And I had but it revealed the person to me, and I was like,
Not
well, I didn't do anything wrong. It was fair marketing practices.
Yeah.
But someone obviously just didn't like that I was down at last year better than them. And yeah, I got on to Colin, and Colin was like, well done, welcome to the club. He was like, now you're an entrepreneur, you've been people threatening to sue you. I was like, lovely. So off the back of that then, I was talking with another mentor of mine, and he was like, well, why don't you capitalise off this? He was like, if people feel so threatened by it and everything that's going on, he was like, why don't you just offer them to come on board?
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of people ask me for things that like, oh, like, they want to support me, but they need other things, other baby products and kids products that I don't have. And like, realistically, it's probably going to be 2 years before
you can actually,
because I'm still building. I haven't even released the vest yet.
Yeah.
Because I've no grants, no funding.
Yeah.
I'm trying to like sell what I have, reinvest, so I don't pay myself. I can't afford
before you can run.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? I'm making sure that do the basics and do them right.
Is that something you're looking to try and advocate for businesses like yourself, to try and get funding?
Yeah, well, so the issue is, without being, unless you have 18 months trading and €30,000 in revenue, there is zero, absolutely
Kind of
zero.
goes against the whole purpose of it, yeah.
Like that, like, oh yeah, it's great to do a startup in Ireland, but not really if there's no grants available to you.
I need you to help me start.
Yeah, like, as I said, like, I'd a loan out that I'm in debt over still. That, like, like, that's a disaster. I was scoring off 50 quid out of the social welfare every week. And Nicole put a bit of money towards it, like, getting samples and stuff like that. And then I did a lot on LinkedIn, documenting me thing. I've doing that since last year. Just documenting little small victories every week and stuff like that. And then I was going on LinkedIn, I was searching by job type, so if people were editors or radio presenters, venture capital, go on to venture capital, and everyone, I was like a 15-year-old on Facebook, adding everyone and anyone that we thought would be beneficial to my business.
That message yet, like saying, can't add any more today?
But then some fella put me on, and some fella seen me on TikTok, and he worked for LinkedIn and gave me 6 months of premium.
Brilliant.
Make use of that.
Well, I'm getting on about LinkedIn because they want me to put me ID on it, even though I already did. I gave me Hal Martin a bit of a left a bit of a comment on one of his things, saying how he could be helping homeless people rather than doing this other stuff. Anyways, but a guy had seen what I was doing on LinkedIn, seen my story, from the UAE, donated to us to get it started. So between what we got the business up and running off about €4,500.
Let's go going.
Class.
That was first order packaging, incorporation, getting everything set up. Yeah.
If anybody then was looking to, I've got a baby on the way now in October, so I'll definitely be going looking for her. But for anybody else who's looking to find the website, to even find you online, where can you find you?
GooseyGoo.ie, GOOSEYGOO.ie. GooseyGoo.ie on Instagram, GooseyGoo.ie on TikTok, Goosey Goo Clothing Limited, I think, on Facebook.
Very fancy.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the socials.
It's class. I feel like we'll have to get him back on at some stage.
Might be able to get you again now. It sounds like.
I remember who was there in the early days. RTA is never going to get me though, because they rang me and they were like, "Oh, so you're only 3 months? Well, give us a ring back when you're." No, not going to happen.
Blacklist.
Blacklisted now.
What's the hardest question we ask, I guess?
Spotify playlist. What would your song choice be?
Schoolboy Q, Man of the Year.
Nice, yeah. It's a good one, actually.
Nice one, yeah.
I think I deserve it.
Yeah, I think you definitely do.
I think I deserve it.
Sean, it's been an absolute pleasure to work through the highs, the lows.
Absolutely, yeah. It's
Yeah.
And,
brilliant.
I know myself and Keith, we don't take for granted anybody that we get on here and actually opens up and shares their stories. So we really want to thank you for coming in.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Hope you enjoyed it.
It's a great time, yeah. Great, and really got across the things that we had discussed. So, delighted, yeah.
Fair play.
Spot on.
Yeah, thanks very much for the opportunity. And
onwards and upwards.
Yeah, absolutely. Just get me back in around Christmas.
Steve will be hitting you up for a few baby girls now soon anyway.
Look after you, but now Goosey discount.
Goosey Goo, yeah, Goosey Goo.
Goosey bonus.
Yeah. You'll have to give us a code to throw up or something.
Yeah.
Discount
It's
code.
cheap enough.
Hold on,
Isn't it?
an insight. Hold on, we'll go here.
Yeah.
An insight one here.
You might as well
Give me a
do,
sec.
will you?
Right,
Yeah.
give me a sec. Discount. So we'll get you a little for your viewers. Insight.
For anybody.
Insight 100% off.
Yeah. That's for
you.
That's for
isn't it?
me only. Yeah.
If there was any,
The schoolboy queue then, does that be on then when you're working? Do you play
when
it?
I'm in the gym, yeah, I always forget. I keep saying I'll get a little speaker for the shed,
Yeah.
and then never do. But again,
Too
ADHD, we be
engrossed in it.
scatterbrained. And see,
Yeah.
when the stock is here, like I'm working 18 hours, like, because I'm up and out of our place, over on the south side, over to the shed, over in Finglas. So I'm up early in the morning because I do same day delivery all over Dublin. So we have to be up from 9 until 1 to get them in for me courier. And then I'll go to the gym for an hour. I'll come back, get everything ready then for the live then the evening.
Evening
And then we're not getting back then because it's bus in Lewis. So we're not getting back till like 12 o'clock.
I don't know how you manage it.
hustle.
It is a hustle, isn't it?
It's,
Yeah.
Sounds like a proper hustle, actually. Doesn't it?
the only thing about it is that the Mr. Girl is something terrible.
Yeah.
Like,
It's for them.
it's for them, yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm at the point now where I have a so young. And it's like you blink and that.
Yeah, you
You
don't
know
want
what I
to miss any of it.
Get them little content updates every couple of days, you know what I mean? New words and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now,
Keep
I'm
it.
going to get you a little discount here. Give me 2 seconds. I'll be very amount off orders. We'll give you an Insight 20, yeah?
Inside 20. You get that shared out then as well.
Absolutely.
Inside 20 for anybody who's looking to get on.
We'll get it on the screen
Yeah.
here somewhere.
Yeah, over his face.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Okay, yeah.
Inside 20. Sean, it's been a pleasure.
Pleasure.
Thanks very much.
Really
Take it
enjoyed
easy.
it.
Thank you.
Right, let's go. Cheers, Sean. Deadly.
Right, that's it. Another episode in the can. What an episode.
Yeah, that's in the name, isn't it? It's a really insightful episode. Thanks to Jessica and Sean for joining us on this episode. It was a pleasure as always. Yeah, great to get them in.
Yeah, can't wait to see how both of their journeys work out over the course of this year and into their future. But like we always say, just want to say a massive thank you to our sponsors, Robus Lighting, the world's leading LED lighting company.
Also, a special thanks to Snickers Workwear Ireland and Velocity Pro Gear for their continued support also.
Yeah, if you liked what you heard, make sure you head over to wherever you get your podcast, give us a like or a follow, and you'll be notified when the next one drops. Take it easy.
Talk to you in the next one.